Hey guys, welcome everybody. I'm DarilJ and this is my first video in this channel. We will talk about a closing review on the game industry at 2023 and will be a kind of study about some research I found in the internet, and this can be good for us for we have some expectations for the next year, and we understand better how the industry is closing this year. I'm talking about revenue, about customers behavior, this kind of stuff. And if you don't know me, I am a Brazilian game dev living in Canada, so my English is not totally polished. So if I make some mistake here, sorry for that. If you find some mistake on my slides, sorry for that again. Be patient and contribute for the next video. Thank you guys. Keep in this video for we talk through all of these slides that I will show for you. Just for you understand, I will use three resources I found for be my source at this video, and we have more on our industry, but we need to pay for that. One of them costs about more than 3,000 euros, so it's very expensive. So I will use just the free ones, do you know? And you can find all of these sources on the description of this video. And we will talk about two stuff specifically about the worldwide scenario and about the North American customers behavior. And the North American customer behavior can be a reference for us because the North American industry and market are the more developed one in the world, and naturally it's kind of a reference for the future of the other ones. I can explain better how this works in other video, but for now just use this as our reference. This will be how we'll close the revenue of our industry this year, considering the top nine countries on the game industry. And we have at the first position China with 50 billion North American dollars, and in the second position, United States. And at this point, we have a good point for reflect about. And um, China have more revenue, but if you consider that United States have more than 300 million people living there, and China have more than four times this population, we understand that United States is more efficient in their revenue at the game industry, and because that we use the United States as our reference of the markets more developed than the other ones, do you know? And Japan with 22 billions in the third position, South Korea with 8 billions, and United Kingdom with 7.5 billion. And considering the top five, we see three nations from Asia. So this is an interesting point. If we consider the revenue from South Korea, Japan, and China, we have more revenue than all of the other countries in the top nine. So the most part of the money that are being made in our industry became from Asia. And we have Germany at the sixth position at with 7 billion, France with 4.5 billion, Canada with 3.5 billion, and Brazil with 2.5 billion. Just one country of the Latin America, no country from Africa, and we have just one, two, three countries from Europe. So one of the most rich continents, Europe, have just three countries on our top nine, and this is crazy because Asia is not the most rich part of the world, but are being a part of the world that is making more money on our industry. I believe in the next year we will have other countries from Asia trying to enter at this top nine. Maybe Philippines, that is growing a lot, do you know? And we are having Canada investing a lot of money. Just this year, Canada invested more than 250 million Canadian dollars at the industry just for having new studios, more people involved in the industry, releasing more games, and maybe Canada can pass France in this next year. Probably not Germany, but France probably. So the world is seeing the game industry as a really good opportunity for developing their economies. If you are trying to enter at the game industry, now you can understand better what are the best countries in the world for you direction your career. At this fourth slide of our presentation, we will talk about the worldwide market share divided into regions, number of players, and in the next one, we will talk about the paid account. So is different stuff. And I will just read fast because maybe some people needs to listen I'm saying about because can't see on the screen. And we have a graphic here of five different regions on the world. And these regions are Asia Pacific, Middle East, Africa, Europe, Latin America, and North America. The first position is Asia Pacific with 1,789 billion. Middle East, Africa with 570 millions, Europe with 447 millions, Latin America in the fourth position at 335 millions, and North America with 237 million accounts. So if we just think about naturally the countries that have more population have more players, and this impacts a lot our industry, impacts a lot the revenues. And naturally Asia with countries like India and China with larger population, Bangladesh and many other countries naturally have more players than the other parts of the world. But now in the next screen, we can see about the number of paying players. And we can see that the graphic changed a little bit, do you know? And this happened because naturally some countries have less population, but these people have more money for invest in their hobbies, in their passions, and naturally in games because all of this stuff are connected. In this case, naturally, Asia Pacific keep being the first one on our ranking, and they have 713 million of paid accounts, and Europe is in the second one with 248 millions. If you consider the both slides that I showed for you just now, Europe passed Middle East and Africa, do you know, in this new slide because Europe have more efficiency at the revenue. The people pay more for play games than in Middle East Africa. Middle East Africa with 207 million. North American passed Latin America. So in the last slide, we saw that Latin America was in the fourth position. In this one is in the fifth one because North America, how I said at the beginning of this presentation, is more efficient. So naturally, they have more space in this market share. They grow it up from 7% for almost 11% because they have less players, but these guys are investing more money in games and hardware. This graphic is pretty interesting. We will talk about market share one more time, but at this time divided by type of device used to play. We can see in the graphic that mobile games have more than 49% of usability in gameplays. At the second position, console games with almost 30%, PC games in the third position, but it's not all PC games, just the downloaded boxed ones, have almost 20%, and at the last position, browser PC games with just 1% of our industry. And you can see that VR is not appearing at these statistics because probably their revenue and how many accounts they have is just a few in comparison of the other ones. And this can be used for you guys for when you will make a kind of game. Try to consider what device the players are using for play its game, so try to use that for make versions for this device, because naturally you will can target the most part of our industry. Let's talk about the North American customers behavior, and for that you will understand now why we are talking about that. First stuff, it is the most mature market in the world with the highest revenue per capita and the only one with a wealth of data available. Naturally, the North American industry make more research and turn this public for everybody knows. This is pretty good, and the other countries don't do that. I did not found any public research in any other country. And what, how know that can help me? More major markets represent a glimpse of that will happen in less major market in the future. I learned that when I worked in AB InBev, is the largest brewery company in the world, and we always talks in this company that what is happening in United States now will happen in Brazil in the future, probably 15 years in the future. This is the distance between the Brazilian market and the North American market about mature level. Okay, this distance can be largest, do you know, or shortest, depends of your country. But it's interesting you know that why this data should to be interesting for me. Such data can help you better understand where the market's going, and this way you can strategically position yourself to be prepared for the future. So naturally understand how the North American market works, can understand how you need to position yourself or your company or your team for be competitive in the future, because this is the way that the game industry is following like that. So about the North American market, 65% of Americans play video games regularly, and 46 of players are women and 53% are men. Look that. This is crazy for a guy like me. I have 33 years old today, and when I was a kid, just boys play video games. I don't remember to play against a woman or play together. Do you know? Normally the girls play with other kind of stuff, do you know, like dolls, like other stuff, and boys play video games. Today is almost 50-50. And look that 65% of Americans play video games regularly. This represents a lot because we know that many countries don't have potential, economic potential for the people invest in video games. Do you know? Just for you understand, the North American industry had a revenue of $45 billion this year. More than 150 countries don't have this revenue all year in all of their business. Do you know? Do you understand that North Americans really invest money in that? They have money, they have potential for buy stuff, buy skins, buy games, buy consoles, buy new hardwares like that. About kids, 76% of North American children play regularly. This is crazy because it's a new generation that are playing more than the last generation and the other ones. So this represents in the future the market will be not in 65% in the United States. Probably will exceed 76% because this generation will grow up and they will have children that probably will play more, do you know, probably other kinds of game with different features, but will play more. The market are not in its totally potential. This potential are being explored and are being developed. I know in other slides and in the last one I said the North American industry had a revenue of $45 billion, and at this one is $56 billion. But is that I am using three different researches. In one of them is 45, and at this one is 56. Sorry for that. Let's to consider the fourth one, the first one, because is the one that we are using for measure the revenue around the countries. Okay, let's to understand one stuff about the revenue on our industry for you understand how large it is. If we consider the worldwide music revenue in 2022, they had a revenue of $11 billion in the world 11 billion. And the worldwide cinema revenue in 2022 was almost $26 billion in the world. Just in the United States, the game industry have more than the both. It's crazy. We are thinking just about North American. Imagine this comparison between the music and cinema industry in the world and the revenue of game industry in the world. We are larger. We are very important. This slide is very interesting because it is showing for us the five more important genres of games at this year. And how can you see the first one is puzzles? I really believe this happens because mobile games are the main one, are 50% of our industry. And naturally, we have a lot of ads of puzzle games happening all time on the social media, and a lot of players play this kind of game just for relax, just for pass the time, enjoy a little bit, maybe in some lines, some inside the cards kind of stuff. And this can be very precious for your games and your business because if you will start a new project, think about it's your game in one of these categories or not because the players are playing that, they are investing their time. You really you need to be competitive because the guys, the players have time like 1, 2, 3 hours per day for play, and they need to make decisions where you put my time in what kind of game, in what game. So think strategically. I will make any game about what, in what category, because the people have preference, and you can see clearly in this slide these five genres are the main played. About how many hours the guys are playing per week. We have 75% of the people interviewed in this research displaying at least 4 hours per week. How I said in the last slide, the people have an amount of hours they will invest in some game. Make a game that deserves to receive some of this time is strategically needs to be thinking about. 12. 8 hours is the average a player plays per week. So how can you see almost 2 hours per day? 12% only play on smartphones. So some people don't have consoles or don't play there. Some people don't have computer or don't have games in their computer, but they always have some game in their phone for play. Because that the mobile game is so important for our industry because it's convenient, it's comfortable. You can play in any place depending of the game without internet. This is very important. You can go for a camp in the forest and play some video game on your cell phone. 58% of gamers use more than one platform to play. Because that should to be interesting option, you make different versions for your game for different platforms because sometimes the player will not have available some of these platforms and can play in another one. So let's talk about the feelings the people have about video games and what they are saying about that. We know more than 80% of the people say that gaming brings them joy. This is important. Everybody needs that. And in many cases, the people are saying that finds this in video games. Almost the same percentage says that games stimulate their minds. So for these guys is more than just have fun, but stimulate their minds. They believe that they can be more capable for do intellectual stuff because they play video games. Games relieve their stress. We know the modern life can be stressful, and much people use video games for relax, for just stop to think about other stuff and just relax and think about fun. So it's a good valve of escape, how we say on my country, and I really believe that. Games help develop their skills. So if you need to develop your memory, we have many kinds of games that can help you with that. It's like build new synapses, brain synapses for you develop this kind of skills. Much games today have this proposal. Games create a feeling of belonging to a community. Much games have this ability. Have a very united community that contribute to each other, that play each other, that have fun each other, and we have many people today that have a lot of difficult for be show social, do you know, for make friends, for talk in public, for I don't know, meet new guys. And in gaming, we can meet people that like the same thing than us. And because that gaming have this potential for make the people feel that belongs for some community. About this last stuff, let's talk about creating community through play. 80% of the gamers play with other people. So play multiplayer games. Player against player or two players contribute each other like that. So if the most part of the players play with someone, please think your games for have this feature. I know that single player gameplay is nice, but the people are playing together. This graphic is showing that for us. So always think your games for have some link with other players for the people don't feel alone playing your game. 88% say games expand their social circles. This is nice because it's pretty hard for some people for do that, and the video games are helping them. 82% say games introduce them to new friends and relationships. I totally agree. I have a lot of friends that I made playing, and they still being my friends for a long time, and are real friendship. And this is pretty nice of our industry. We can contribute of the society doing this kind of stuff. 76 of North American parents play games with their children. This is another revolutionary stuff because I don't remember my father playing with me when I was a kid. I don't remember. And today, 76% of the parents do that. It's crazy. It's connecting parents with their children. 60% say gaming helps them connect with their friends and family. I totally agree again. Like me, I live in Canada. My brother lives in Brazil, and sometimes we play together. It's a good moment that we can enter in Discord, play together, and talk about many stuff, not just about gaming. So this is a really good link our games are making are like creating virtual rooms where people that live in places very far each other can enjoy something together and talk. It's crazy, it's amazing. 50% of respondents say they met their spouse, a good friend, or a significant other in some other way through gaming. It's it's crazy, guys. When I was a teenager, we need to went for a club, dancing and drinking, for hook up with someone. And today, the people are getting a girlfriend or boyfriend playing games together. This is pretty nice. This is a kind of evolution of our society. We are learning how to live our lives not totally in person, in the streets, in the places, but in our houses and reaching for our goals totally remote. This is the technology applied to the games help us to get a different kind of life, more modern. How we talked that 76% of the children in North America play video games. Let's talk about what is their parents' part of this stuff. In this graphic, we have that 78% of their parents make all or most part of the decisions about what games the children can play. This is pretty nice because in this case we know the kids are playing just a health games, something that will teach them some useful thing, some health thing. So this is pretty nice. 17% of these parents use a kind of hybrid approach, and sometimes they take this decision, but they have some space for the children choose something that they like. This can be nice, but can be bad as well because we don't know how mature is these children for choose their games. This can be problematic. And we have 5% of these parents that just leave the children choose their games alone. For me, this is very misresponsible. They don't should to do that because the children don't have understanding for know what is problematic and what is interesting for them. But this is nice because we understand now the most part of the parents have this kind of responsibility and understand how the video games can impact the growing up of their children. I don't know if you know, guys, but we have the ESRB. It's a kind of classification per age of our games. And about that, this classification, 84% are confident about the ESRB. And so they know that, have this classification, and pay attention to do that. And 74% use an ESRB regularly in their decision make. This is interesting because naturally the ESRB was made for help the parents, for help the parents to make the decision what kind of game the kids can play, thinking about the age, about the content inside the game. And yeah, we need to always try to put our game good positioned in this kind of classification for get the kind of target public we want for us. Guys, we reached to the end of this video. I hope you like it, and I hope all of this content will be useful for you in your career, in your studio, in your projects. Thank you very much for watch this video and for contribute with my work. If you like it, please give a like in my video, and if you want to contribute more and receive my new videos that I will make, please subscribe in this channel. But here your comment, this will be important for me, for I have some feedback and make new and better videos for you and for contribute more of our industry. This channel is new, but I really hope to build something precious in my work here for contribute with our industry and for mainly the student guys and the junior developers. Thank you very much, and I see you in the next video.